Hey, what's going on? Welcome to RJSCAVE. I'm RJ. You are awesome. Thanks for joining me. Especially because this video is kind of your fault. You heard that right. I said kinda, which means you're not alone in that. Let me explain. I posted the poll. You guys voted. Then we went shopping. Link in the upper right hand corner, by the way. And now it's here. What's here? The cheapest guitar on eBay. We're gonna unbox it, but I got a little explaining to do. When I first started looking around on eBay, I instantly started finding $60 Galari guitars with no branding on them at all and stuff like that. And we've done that here. So I was trying to find something different. And then this popped up. This is a different kind of purchase. It's not a normal retail situation. This was part of a bunch of guitars sold for liquidation. Basically, for anyone that doesn't know, liquidation is when, let's say a warehouse has to close. Maybe they owe the government money and they take all the stuff inside and then they sell it. That's liquidation. Or the container that they come across the ocean on, some reason gets knocked around and the insurance gets claimed before they even get to port. They can sell it here for dirt cheap prices. That's liquidation. And that's kind of what we have going on here. I don't know exactly what, but the label is liquidation. So that means that there's no warranty, but the sellers will guarantee the instruments in that they will give you some money back if there's some damage, but it's still playable, if they can work that out with you, or they'll send you a new instrument. At least that's what it says on their listing pages. Now, if you went shopping with me, you know that this one was listed for $80. You also know the story behind how I actually got here, which involves another seller who wasn't so nice. But if you want to hear that and you haven't already checked out that video, please go click the link in the right hand corner. Ultimately, I was led to this, and this one was $80 plus shipping, $34 shipping, and sales tax. All in, it was $124.10. This could be a really, really sweet deal at $80. So, for a little more risk, a little more reward, right? You guys are actually going to see this before I do. All right. As I flip it open, you guys are going to have the first angle on this, not me. So let's unbox this. So here we are, and we're going to open up the box. You guys are my witnesses, and fingers crossed, okay? All right, I'm not looking. What do you guys think? All right, I'm gonna look. All right. So far, looks pretty good. We got the wrench, the Allen key. All right. So, what do you think so far, guys? As I took it out of the packaging, I had a quick look, not a deep look, and it does look to be in pretty decent shape. Although I haven't checked the back yet. I wanted you guys to get a good look at this. So, I think the finish looks pretty good. The veneer looks actually not bad. All right, so what do you guys think? Was this a good pick for the cheapest guitar on eBay? I'm starting to feel like it was. We're going to find out. All right, I had a quick look at the back. It seems to be pretty good. It's all green. And may actually be all mahogany. And word is this is actually a maple top with a veneer on it and not just a thin veneer on top of mahogany. I'm impressed with the looks right out of the box. Let me sit down and set up the cameras so that you can see me kind of warming up on this. We're going to plug in right now. I've tuned it up. I've messed around with it a little bit. I've found out a couple of things. The tuners are okay. The neck has a bit of a relief in it. I'm going to mess around with the neck a little during a setup. We're going through my Black Star. I've got the volume kind of high, hoping you guys can hear it in the microphone that I got on my neck. Let's play it. So we're going to start in the bridge. Sorry for the mistakes. Middle position. Not bad in the middle position. I kind of like it. It's got a nice chime to it. The bridge is nice and bright. Now the neck. Okay, it plays good. I have no bad fret ends. That's wild on its own, but it is a bound fretboard, so that helps. But no bad fret ends here. I'm just going bare finger. I'm squeezing. Yeah, this is, wow, that was great. All right, so now we're going to do some distorted tones. I've actually had to lower the volume on the Black Star a little bit and compensate with a high gain distortion. Hopefully it stays relatively balanced. If not, I apologize. Bridge pickup. Middle. And now the neck. So the out-of-the-box playability test sounds pretty good to me. I don't know what you guys thought. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on how it sounded. And how was the quality of the recording? Could you get a sense of how the tone is? Let me know, all right? Anyway, so that's it for this part. When we come back to it, I'm going to be setting it up to do some setup work.
All right, so the first thing we got to do is get this guy off. Can anybody tell me what this says? I believe it's Vietnamese. Alright, so now we're going to use the Allen key here. We're going to turn it this way, and we're going to relieve some of the bow that we're going to find right up here. Now, let me show you real quick. From the 1st fret on down to around the 7th fret, you see how fast the string height raises? Well, that's due to the bow. Once we adjust this, the string should level out and be more consistently parallel to the fretboard, if not perfectly parallel, because there's always a little bit of a gradient, but you want to keep the whole thing as low as possible, more or less. Keep your eye on the fretboard. And now with that small turn, you can see it's getting a lot more parallel to the fretboard. I'm going to call that pretty good and take a look.
All right, at this point, I'm going to set up to do the intonation. All right, so we need to check and see if this thing is intonated properly. I already can tell that it's most likely not quite there. So how we do this is we make sure the guitar is in tune, which it is, and then we check the harmonic, and that's on point. Then we check the note at the 12th fret. This is a few cents sharp. So now we have to push the saddle further away from the nut. With the screws pointed this way, it's a little counterintuitive. What we need to do here is actually go counterclockwise, like we're going to unscrew the screw in order to get the bridge to move backward. And then because we're under tension, we may have to actually check the saddle by pushing it to see if it's actually as far back as it should be. I'm going to check that now on the low E string. Now we check again, we got to put it back in tune. Now the 12th fret. And that seems better. So I'm going to move on to the A. Well, it wasn't as bad as I thought. I guess I am a bit of a heavy-handed player, and I'm used to playing 25.5-inch scale length guitars, because this thing, to my ear, sounded like it was a little bit out, and it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was. So that's good news. That means this is quick. I think now this thing is done. At this point in the video, I've had the guitar for about a week. I've had the opportunity to play it, set it up, and change the strings, all that good stuff. And I played it pretty much exclusively for the last week. So here's the good, the bad, and the ugly about the Iyv ILS 300. First, we're going to talk about the bad. The bad, well, first, there's the poker chip. That poker chip is very white and doesn't match the rest of the plastic hardware. That's all, so that's got to get changed, right? So that's the mistake number one. Number two, I got some pictures. I'll try and remember to put them right here. So this is the white line on the bass side of the guitar body and where the neck meets. This is something that would make any guitar B-stock for any manufacturer, so it's worth mentioning. The ugly, probably the only thing you can consider ugly would be the finish. It's actually a good green color, but not everybody likes green. that brings us to the good stuff. So I want to first start out with something that's still pending final decision. That's going to be the tuners. All right, here's the deal. Over the first 2 days, I played the original strings on the guitar. Then I changed them, so since then I've had a set of 9s on there, where the first set was, I believe, a set of 10s. Okay. Over the course of the first 4 days, I noticed that the guitar was going out of tune overnight. I play it, tune it, set it down. The next day I pick it up again, and it would be out of tune across all 6 strings, about 2 or 3 cents. So I was starting to think that they were bad. Then they leveled out. They seem to have stabilized, and I'm not sure if that's because I didn't know if the original set of strings was stretched, and maybe I didn't fully stretch the set that I put on, or if it was just the tuners needing some kind of break-in period. But either way, they seem to be working fine now, and if they keep this up, they're really, really good tuners, trust me. They have a decent enough tuning ratio for them to be able to catch the note properly. Usually on the inexpensive ones, it's hard to get it exactly in tune. You usually end up going a little past it and have to come back, and it takes a little tweaking. Here, they can go pretty much right to it, and that's great. And it feels nice and smooth while you're turning it, as well as the buttons themselves are very thick. You can definitely feel a difference when you're holding this one versus another one from, let's say, an inexpensive set of tuners. So if these continue to hold tune, they're really good tuners. So ask me about them in a few weeks. The pickups are actually pretty good. They're not great. Well, I think what it is for me is they're probably spec'd to right around standard Gibson Les Paul, which would be 7.5 in the neck and 8.5 in the bridge. And I like something a little bit harder, something that'll drive a distortion pedal or drive an amplifier to distortion more. And but they are good pickups. These aren't cheap pickups. They don't sound shrill. They don't sound too thin. They're just not powered enough for me. So eventually they'll get changed on the guitar as well. But out of the box, I consider these good, at least good enough for a beginner or as a backup. You know what I'm saying? So they're good pickups. They're pretty good pickups, really. All right, now enough of the fanboying on those. Let me get to the pots. These are actually, for me, the star of the show, because in most inexpensive guitars, the potentiometers, they're like on-off switches. You go from 0 to 1, and you've got all the volume or all the tone, and that's really not favorable. They're supposed to be like a fan, almost like a fan, where as you open it up, you get more and more, right? And you go from 0 to 10, and these, you get that. With inexpensive ones on other guitars, you don't. They're basically on and off switches. So this is a big deal, because now you can do things with your volume and control your tone a lot more, and you can make the guitar that much more expressive. So that's really good, and that for me is the big one. So for me, the bottom line with this guitar is that it's actually a pretty good guitar, really. I think at its listed price point, which I believe is somewhere around $300, it kind of gives you a lot more value than that. I think you can get close to a $500 or $600, maybe even Epiphone, as far as quality level in this guitar. Overall, it kind of feels like that to me. That would be great on its own. But to get it for $80 plus shipping and tax, all in, $124. Right? That makes it even more valuable, because this is something then that somebody could get that doesn't have a lot of funds, and that's really kind of what we're about here on RJSCAVE. We're trying to find the good gear that's cheap, right? And so this qualifies. And guys, right now, if you're thinking about a Les Paul style guitar and you're willing to be a little flexible, kind of like when people buy a brand new car at a car dealership and they just grab whatever color is there, then you can have a pretty solid guitar with spending very little money right now. I'm going to put the link for the seller on eBay that I bought this from in the description down below. All right, just know that right now he's selling this guitar for a little more than I got it for. It's like $86 or $87 plus shipping. I got it for $80 plus shipping. Nothing else in the price has changed. The shipping is the same price plus whatever sales tax where you live, if it even applies. So for right around $130, you can get a very good guitar instead of something that's really inexpensive, lightweight, made with cheap pickups and all that stuff. This is a fully functional guitar right out of the box. It might need a setup because it's sitting in a box and being shipped across the world to get to you ultimately, but once you get beyond that, it's a very solid guitar that I think just about anybody can be happy with. All right, and let's not forget the fretwork on this thing is really good too. I almost forgot to mention that. The only thing they don't do here is on the fretwork is the polishing. They're well rounded and everything. So anyway, look, I've gone on enough about this guitar. If you've got a couple bucks, click the link down below. I don't make anything. This is a great deal. You should get in on it while you can. If that link is no longer good, look at the bottom of the page. There'll be a whole bunch of other guys selling this guitar right now because somehow, some way, a whole bunch of these came up for sale at liquidation. So read the descriptions. Understand that these are no company warranty, but the sellers will guarantee them. Then I think you understand the risk level and you can get yourself a good one, because I don't think these guys are trying to sell junk either. They all say that they'll give you another one or give you a deep discount if you're not satisfied or something like that. So well worth the money. It might seem like a little more risk at first, but I think it'll pay off. It definitely paid off for me, and a lot of other people have started to post videos with these guitars on YouTube, and they're all saying the same thing too. So don't you miss out, okay? Click the link down below. Go get yourself one of these. And while you're at it, don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, buy a shirt, all right? Help me help you, okay? Anyway, you've been awesome. I've been RJ. Until the next one, take it easy.